Bless the Lord, O my soul, blessed art thou, Lord. I am delighted to introduce you to my longtime friend, Father Mark. He is with Joy of All Who Sorrow Monastery in Tennessee, and he's here to spend the first week of Great Lent with us. We have been friends for how long now, Father?
It would be early 80s, I believe.
The early 80s.
1980s.
1980s.
Not
Just so,
1880s.
I mean, no, we looked like it was 1880s, but it's 1980s. Okay. So one of the things that both of us have been really interested in for a very long time is the state of the youth of this age, and young men in particular. Both of us have worked with young men who basically have no fathers. Or if they do have fathers, the fathers were not very good. They were abusive or they were absent. And as many of you know, I started the Ps Brotherhood, which is a group of young men that get together here at the monastery twice a year for retreats and campouts. And they're all pious young men, and they all give support to one another. And Father, tell them about the organization that...
Yes, I mentioned to Father this morning, one of the things that's happening in America is the foundation of a men's organization called St. Ps Brotherhood. Ps is with an O, not a U. St. Ps Brotherhood was founded by 3 Orthodox priests, one of whom is a close friend of mine, Father Hans Jacobsy, who has St. Peter's Church in South Fort Myers.
He's someone that I met when I was speaking. We were both speaking at Montanica a while back.
His story starts with men walking in off the street in his church, looking for something, and basically sorting out what their concept of manhood needs to be and should be in the face of this relentless feminization of our culture, in which men are discredited and put down and criticized for their manhood and for their manly characteristics and personality qualities. And he's been very successful at that. He was one of the co-founders of the St. Ps Brotherhood. It's a national organization. They have a website, which is stpsbrotherhood.com. They have on first and second Tuesdays of each month, there is a Zoom meeting, an open meeting for members and other inquirers. An open meeting at which he or Father Michael, I forget his last name, who's from Detroit, give a talk. Father Michael is a former Roman Catholic priest, a very good scholar, and always has some very valuable insights, specifically on patristic sources. Father Hans has been working on the ground with young men and has great experience, great insight, great awareness, great knowledge, and is a good man, a good priest, a man of prayer, and a very caring man, whom I've known for quite a number of years. So they also have Telegram channels for men to meet together and talk together with various subjects, health and fitness, marriage, this, that, and the other thing, a wide range of subjects they have. One of the most valuable programs right now appears to be they have an 8-week program called Achieving Sexual Integrity, which helps men with coping with addiction to pornography, masturbation. A lot of young men are enchained to this. They're enslaved by this. And Father Hans's perspective explains, men have a creative energy. We are created to be creators, co-creators with the Father. Fatherhood and creativity go together, and productivity. And that energy can be directed in various ways. And when men don't have any other outlets of creativity and productivity, their natural inclination, it's channeled toward sexual behavior. Now, appropriate sexual behavior, husband and wife within marriage, there's a purpose. It is procreation. And there you see, procreation. A woman bears, a man begets. When these other areas of opportunity for that are obscured or blocked, then men, with or without a wife, will resort to other expressions that are inappropriate and non-productive. And so their creative energy is dissipated. Nothing good comes of it. Men build, men invent, men explore, men construct, men design. Men are creators, as the Father in heaven is our creator. And that's one of the very important points we have to convey to young men today, to give them the hope and the awareness of their capacity as men, as Christian men, to be making a positive contribution to society, the church, their families, and of course their own growth and development.
One of the things that I have noticed with our society as it is today is that when I was in college, it was an average of 70% of young men were in college, but today it's 40%. And lots of young men don't feel welcome on campuses. And if they are on a campus, they're demonized. They're either pushed aside as white privileged or male privileged. And they basically feel sidelined. And so they don't want to be there anymore. And the tragedy is that we have all of these young men that have so much to contribute to our society that have been pushed aside and borderlined for who they are and what they are. And I have talked, and I know you have, to so many young men who have converted to Orthodoxy after searching for something that would fill the void that they were feeling in their lives, and almost stumbling upon Orthodoxy. A number of years ago, when I was at Montanica Men's Retreat, or Montanica Retreat in Butte, Montana, at the Serbian church there, Holy Trinity, of the, I think it was 125 people that were registered attendees, 95% were young men. And of course, there are a few weird people who want to interpret that as having to do with white supremacy, but that was far from it. These were not people there for political purposes. They were there because they were hungering for something that was missing in their lives. And most young people today, because they are raised in fatherless families, do not have that image of a father in their life, nor do they have a father that is raising them up in the love of Christ and being involved in the church.
Yes, and that is intentional. As Father Hans has pointed out, one of the things he notes, and I see it too, it's intentional to destroy the experience of young men and young women of having a father and being fathered. Has a spiritual dimension, and that is, if there is no experience of the human fathering, there's no ability to understand and relate to the divinity, the fatherhood of the divinity of God. So it's intended to destroy people's faith and knowledge and experience of God, and this is what's behind it. We have a very serious situation today. The demons are all around us, and there's a great deal of evil in the world, and many people willingly throw themselves into the arms of the demons, listen to them and follow them, and we have so many things going on in this world that 50 years ago people would have thought are horrendous. We have abortion. We have all sorts of sexual problems that people are having, confusion about their identity, of their sexuality, and how to be a man and a woman.
Even their gender.
Yeah, what is a man? What is a woman? You ask people who are feminists, what is a woman? They can't tell you. They don't have an answer, and yet they keep beating the drum. And we have genocides going on around the world. This is going on for 100 years. Since he that restraineth was taken away, which we as Orthodox Christians know to be the last Orthodox Christian Tsar, Emperor Nicholas II. He was the inheritor of the Byzantine imperium. When the last Byzantine emperor died defending Constantinople, through marriage actually, sometime thereafter, the connection with the Byzantine imperial line was transferred to the princes of Moscow. And soon after that, the princes of Moscow assumed the title Tsar, which of course is a Russian form of Caesar. And so, even when there were poor or bad people sitting on the throne, nevertheless, that Orthodox Christian imperium restrained evil in the world. And when that was ended by the Bolsheviks, we see from 1918 what has gone on in the world since 1918. We had before that we had World War I, and then we had all the things that have happened through that time in the world since then. Horrible things that in amounts and intensities that in previous ages haven't seen. So there's the link between the spiritual and the familial or personal need for understanding and experiencing positive, loving, supportive, healthy fatherhood.
It was recently announced in the media that Seattle, Washington, 69% of Seattleites are not religious whatsoever. And I think San Francisco was followed behind that. But the sad part of it is that these are people who, in claiming that there's no God and embracing atheism, they don't realize that it's not that they are denying the existence of God, they're worshiping a false God, and the false God is self. And then you've got colleges or grade schools even, where children are allowed to start satanic clubs. And then the defenders will say, oh, well, Satan really doesn't exist anyway. This is just a little thing for the children to play with. Well, the devil doesn't care whether we believe in him. The devil wants our souls. He doesn't care whether we're looking at him as a person or a real true entity. And this is what's taking us down to the depths. The demons that are doing battle with us as a people.
We've seen in the past few years a great influx of young men coming to the Orthodox Church. Father Tryphon has his Ps Brotherhood here. Father Hans is working with men in his parish, St. Peter's Parish in South Fort Myers. In my monastery, I have, maybe half a dozen men that they're in the orbit. They're coming forward and we have a connection. I have a spiritual son who's a priest in California. He's had dozens of baptisms, conversions.
In Berkeley, no less.
Yes, in Berkeley, no less, of young men. Right now, not only does he have young men, he has 3 adolescents, I think they're like 12, 13, 14 years old, who on their own have come to the church wanting to learn about our Christian faith. It's even reaching that level, that age level. And Father Hans is quite convinced that this is going to, it started as a trickle, now it's a stream. He was saying at a conference I was at last week, and he's quite convinced it's going to turn into a river. And sooner or later, there would be women following too. Because a woman who appreciates the value of a healthy, pious man, they will be looking in the Orthodox Church for the things that will, the qualities that they see as something that they could admire in a husband and trust and rely on a husband.
So, Father, it has been a joy having you here.
I'm very happy to be here.
And the fact that we have this connection going back really to our pre-Christian days. Mm-hmm. And here we are, aging monks. I have to tell you that my friend here is 80, and I'm only 78. I love being able to say that.
You can call me Daddy.
I can call you Daddy. So we both love you, and we're praying for all of you, and go out and take the world for Christ.
God be with you and bless you.
If you have found this content to be a blessing, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Both now and ever and unto the ages of ages. Amen. Only begotten Son and immortal Word of God,